everybody, this is Joe Joseph, and this is the DailySheeple.com's News Shot. ShitHitTheFanPlan.com, SHTFPlan.com has a great piece. There will be those who perish in the next crisis and those who will survive in underground luxury. There has been a massive increase, large growth in the survival shelters industry. I mean, you want to talk about a niche market. Whoever got into that in the ground floor, man, they're making a ton of money doing this. And it says ultimately no one can stop what's coming. The haves, and the have-nots of the next gritty era of aftermath will be those who have the means to survive when the systems have failed, and those who do not. For the wealthy and the prepper-minded elite, hidden fortified layers purchased for insurance will preserve most of their luxuries of life above ground, and in the cities, even as society crumbles and burns to the ground. Others without means to purchase these luxuries will have to set aside the necessary materials, of course, to live and thrive after a great collapse, where anything and everything from the electrical grid to the fuel and food supplies will ultimately fail. There'll be tens of millions of starving people, angry and bewildered people who face endangerment and extinction, and there'll be few who succeed not only in planning ahead, but in laying low enough to avoid being noticed and picked off by looters, marauders, and misguided authorities. Finding the perfect location for your readout and making your preps to get away, if need be, amount to something of an art and science. Nothing's guaranteed, and everything has its advantages and disadvantages. But it's so important, folks, that you think about these things and you make the necessary preparations, slowly but surely, because a lot of us are of limited means, to be able to survive something like that should it happen. Again, it's not stupid and it's not wrong to be responsible and to want to ensure the survival of yourself and your progeny. As a matter of fact, it's written into our DNA. It's one thing that we are designed to do is survive. And so why wouldn't you do the smartest things you possibly can to do that? One thing I would do, just to start off, get your family, sit them in the living room or wherever you normally congregate, go to the main breaker and shut it off. And then instantly discuss with family members, how did this just change the way that we live our lives? What did this do? What do we now not have? What do we have to make plans for to accommodate the loss of power? What you come to find out is it's extremely inconveniencing to lose power, more so than you actually think, until you sit there and then you start trying to do things without power. Even during a natural disaster, like a bad thunderstorm that may knock out power, take advantage of those situations, study them, see what it is that you lose in a situation like that. Loss of water, loss of your shelter. Do you have a good egress route out? You don't want to necessarily follow the same egress route everybody else is. If there's a mass evacuation, we recently had that dam out in California where basically anybody living within that flood basin would have been doomed because there's no way in heck that they could evacuate that many people that fast using what egress routes were available. So you have to get creative. You have to consider the fact that the highways are probably going to be so congested that you will never make it anywhere out going the standard way. You have to think outside the box. But it's important that you get started now if you haven't get started, and practice it if you have, and be proficient at it. Again, this is nothing to be embarrassed about. It's certainly something that you should applaud yourself for if you've started it, because you're on your way to being able to survive many of these crises. And you can find a lot of great resources here at thedailysheeple.com. A lot of the people and companies that help support the Daily Sheeple offer some great merchandise and great things for you to take advantage of. Just check it out. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot, and I'll have one again for you real soon. Take care, everybody.